Hello YouTube vintage stereo restorers and Yamaha appreciators. Although what I'm about to tell you is nothing new, it applies to many brands. I'll show you. Isn't that a great faceplate? It's a Yamaha CR66, very similar to the CR420 in that series. Anyway, it's funny how that foam has survived on the back. But this is nice heavy duty stuff. And what's kind of cool, where did I put the knobs for this? Excuse me. Look at these knobs. That's a solid machine knob. Really, these ones have plastic inserts, the smaller ones. Anyway, I thought I'd clean everything up. And of course, like so many Yamahas of this vintage, dial lamps are out. Why are they out? Well, it's like those Cresy Christmas lights from years ago. They're a series string. One bulb goes out, they all go out. One of these little bulbs like this. And there's three in this one. One in the pointer, the dial pointer, in this little housing. And I've already put an LED in there. Already got an LED mounted in place of this bulb. But there's two more, one on this side of the meter housing, one over here, that I guess kind of, well, this dial is indirectly lit. I like nice bright blue dials, but this is nice too. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the methodology here. Because they're in series, let's take advantage of that. On the power board over here is a 180 ohm resistor coming off the bridge rectifier that has 42 volts DC potential on it. So you go online, you get one of those series LED calculator programs. You could figure out yourself if you wanted to, but let's take the easy way. And 3.6 volt white LEDs need a 1.58K dropping resistor. The neat part is we can take the factory one out and put this one in place of the factory one. So we don't have to have another little terminal board underneath or something hanging in midair. We can take advantage of all the wiring. Now sometimes I know it would be nice to have the original bulbs. Here's what I've been finding with these this kind here. There's very few replacements out there. That's the little rubber sleeve we need to reuse. And the replacements, which are usually for model railroad, although not current model railroad, you can usually find some. I'm just getting this ready and we'll show you how I mount one. They'll run for a while, but if you've ever owned one of these long term, like I had a CA510 long term that has the 2 meter lamps, well, over the course of a few years you replace, it seems you could only get 2 or 3 years out of a lamp. I don't know what it was. Over voltage, push too hard, and the newer ones last even less. I did a Luxman that had a number of lights for phone moving coil, an L430 I think it was, or a warm-up lamp over here, one on the volume control. And that thing, you'd replace one, and I'm not kidding you, 2 weeks later another one would go out. They weren't in series, they were in parallel. But all you really need to do on this one, you can either meter it or just see there's 4 stakes on the board. One goes to that resistor we just upgraded. Then you'll see how they loop from one to the next. Well, you just follow the same pattern. So you start on the one that's marked positive. That goes on to the positive lead of this LED. Sorry, the one that's in the dial pointer, which I replaced already, but it looked exactly like that and it fit in really nicely. Then bent over the top. Then you figure out which of these leads, and it's the white, not the red, actually, that's positive to the next LED. Then you figure out on the last LED, well, it's not the red, again, that's negative. Maybe it's a Yamaha thing, I don't know. I'll put a little bit of tubing on there. Okay, so this is our last LED. Longest lead is the positive. We got to put its little booty on. Okay, like that. Take the positive one. This is how I do it. I make a little hook like that, catch the lead through, just bend it over, pinch it, then pinch the solid piece, and just make sure it's mechanically tight and there's nothing sticking out. It can take a little bit of fiddling, not always the easiest thing, but there we go. And we're just going to touch this with solder because you don't want to ruin the LED. Something like that. So then, oh, there's a little hair hanging out. Push that down. Put this one over. And we heat shrink it. It's warm. I'm sweating in here today. We've had the last few days really hot weather for May. You know, it's like, at least in this climate in Ontario, I mean, you could have anything from one day to the next. That probably fits a lot of other places too. But okay, last lead. Don't forget to put a hunk of tubing on it. We want to make this the last light installation in the history of this receiver. It's a little bit frayed. One that will last more than a few years. It's funny, the ones I like, the receivers that have the fuse lamps, because you can just fit in some of the LED replacements or go with incandescent, and you just snap them in. You're not into the soldering stuff. Well, soldering's okay. I got that. Oh, got to pinch it just a little bit more. Go away. Nice little details on this receiver. I don't know if you can see it in the video. There is a piece of what looks like fishing line on the bottom here, and you wipe it with silicone. That's so that the pointer glides nicely. Kind of a nice touch. Yeah, don't want to heat that up too much. So we'll get this one on, and then we'll turn on, and they should light up if I traced my wires correctly. So you have resistor on the power board. A 1.5K is just fine for the 1.58K. And then positive to negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. This last one here, the negative, is grounded to the unit. So I should be able to plug this in, and you're gonna either laugh, you're gonna go, yeah, that's cool. And can't you get the cord undone? It's kind of morning it is. Anyway, we plug that in, we'll turn off this light, make sure the volume's down, turn it on. Wow, cool. Oh, you can see that's lighting up. I know the sun's gonna come in. That one's lit up. And then these are going to go into here. So I have to adjust how they sit in there that light up the signal meter. These don't have a lot of backlighting. I've seen some complaints on different forums. It's not very bright, it's not very bright. It was the way they were. I guess the idea was it's a dark face plate and it's kind of mysterious, I don't know. But I'm just going to push those in and adjust them so it lights up the most evenly, because LEDs tend to have a spotlight effect, right? But that should work really good, and we can actually check, if you want to get a little technical here, carefully check the voltage on the, you probably won't be able to see these pinouts. Let's go across the first one I can get at. Yes. Come on. 3.1 volts. And actually, that's good. They are 3.6 volt LEDs, but at turn on there's a surge. So at 3.1 volts, these are not going to be strained in any way. They're going to last years. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.